Have you ever wondered why your daily horoscope just doesn't quite fit? Well, today we are diving deep into the big three of astrology. That's your sun, your moon, and your rising signs. Get ready, because we're about to unlock a whole new level of self-understanding. Welcome to MiniWebTool. Okay, let's be real. Have you ever read your daily horoscope and just thought, no, that doesn't sound like me at all? Maybe you're a Leo, but you've always been kind of shy. Or you're supposed to be this super logical Aquarius, but you make almost every decision based on a gut feeling. If that sounds familiar, you are so not alone. And that feeling of disconnect, it's completely valid. See, the reason it so often feels a little off is that your sun sign, the one you get from your birthday, it's really just the tip of the iceberg. It's the headline, for sure, but it is definitely not the full story. To get the real clarity we're all looking for, you've got to meet the other two major players in your personal astrological chart. So let's start peeling back those layers and find out why these other signs hold the keys to your unique personality. This is where we go beyond those generic blurbs and get into what makes you, well, you. And check this out. It all comes down to timing. Your sun sign, it hangs out in one spot for about a month. But the moon, it switches signs every 2.5 days. That means someone born just a few days after you could have a completely different emotional world. And then there's the rising sign. Get this, it changes every 2 hours. That's what makes your chart so incredibly specific to you. And that speed right there is why things get a little tricky. To figure out your moon, and especially your rising sign, you need more than just your birthday. You need your exact birth time. This is absolutely the most crucial piece of the puzzle because it determines which sign was right on the horizon the very moment you were born. Now, even if you have that info, trying to calculate it yourself is a lot. We're talking about using these super complex astronomical tables, dealing with tricky time zone conversions. It's just overwhelming. Honestly, it feels like you'd need to be an astronomer just to learn a little bit more about yourself. So it's no wonder most of us just stick with our sun sign. But here's the thing, if you only know your sun sign, you're missing out on all the nuance that makes you so interesting. So let's finally break down these 3 astrological pillars and see what each one is really all about, starting with the one you already know. Okay, your sun sign. This is your core identity. Think of it like your ego, your life force. It's the main character in the story of your life. It really represents the what drives you, what you're here to do, and the kind of person you're consciously trying to become over your lifetime. So for example, if you have a sun in Aries, your core mission is all about being courageous, determined, and a pioneer. You're driven to lead. But if you're a sun in Libra, your fundamental drive is all about creating harmony, balance, and partnership. It's the part of you that shines brightest. All right, now let's talk about the moon. And for a lot of people, this is the real game changer. If the sun is your public light, the moon is your private inner world. It's all about your emotions, your gut instincts, and what you secretly need to feel safe, secure, and cared for. It's the you that you are when nobody else is around. And this is how we can finally make sense of that shy Leo. You could absolutely have a Leo sun, where your core identity wants to be on stage, soaking up the spotlight. But you could also have a moon in Cancer, and a Cancer moon's #1 need is emotional security and a safe, private space. So now you've got this inner conflict, right? Part of you wants to be out there, but your emotional self is hiding backstage. See, just knowing your sun sign is not enough. And the differences can be huge. Someone with a moon in Scorpio is intensely emotional and needs these really deep bonds to feel secure. But a moon in Sagittarius is almost the total opposite. It craves freedom, optimism, and can feel totally bogged down by heavy emotions. You could have 2 people with the same sun sign, but with these moons, they'd be completely different people behind the scenes. And finally, we have the rising sign, which is also called the ascendant. So if the sun is your identity and the moon is your inner heart, your rising sign is kind of like your social mask. It's the front door to your personality. It's that first impression you give off and your automatic reaction when you walk into a new situation. For example, someone with a Virgo rising will probably come across as analytical, detail-oriented, and maybe a little reserved at first. Their instinct is to observe and figure things out. But someone with a Pisces rising, they'll give off a first impression of being really compassionate, creative, and maybe a little bit dreamy. So, how does this all fit together? Well, here's a fun way to think about it. Imagine your personality is a car. Your sun sign, that's the driver, deciding where the car is going. Your moon sign is the engine and the fuel. It's what emotionally powers the whole journey. And your rising sign, that's the car's body. Its design, the first thing people see when you pull up. It's why we're all so wonderfully complex. Okay, now that you know what the big three are and more importantly, why they matter so much, you're probably asking, how do I find mine? Don't worry, we are not going to make you dig out those crazy astronomical tables. It's actually way easier than you think. Like we said, figuring out your moon and rising signs is complicated. You could try to do the math, but honestly, the fastest and most accurate way is to just use a reliable calculator. A simple, free online tool is the perfect solution. It does all that heavy lifting for you in like a second. The whole process is super straightforward. All you need are those three pieces of info: your birth date, your birth time, and remember that's the most important part for getting an accurate rising sign, and then your birth location. You just pop those in, click calculate, and that's it. No math, no tables, just your results. So let's bring it all home, because understanding these three pillars isn't just a cool party trick. It's the key to finally moving past generic horoscopes and stepping into some real, powerful self-awareness. I love this quote. It really sums it all up perfectly. Knowing your sun sign is like only knowing your first name, but knowing your big three, that's like finally understanding your full name, your family history, and what your closest friends call you, all at once. It gives you permission to be complex. It helps you understand all those parts of yourself that seem to contradict each other, and it's what makes you a whole fascinating person. So really, here's the bottom line. You now have a much better map of your own inner world. You've met the driver, you've met the engine, and you've seen the car. The only question left is, where are you going to choose to go with all this new insight? If you are ready to discover your own unique cosmic combination, the next step is so simple. Just search for MiniWebTool Sun, Moon, Rising Sign Calculator to find the free tool and get your complete Big Three breakdown in just a few seconds. For more explainers that help you understand yourself and the world around you, make sure to subscribe to MiniWebTool. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.